the moment. Natalie, what do you see right now?
Well, I've got an update. Some more bad news happening not very close to here. On 600 Seymour, at the parkade, we're now confirming reports that cars there are being set on fire. How is it going to let up? I don't know, but that's just not far from us at the parkade. And if I sound a little breathless, it's because I was outside. And I have to tell you, anyone with a respiratory illness is in deep trouble tonight, because I had about 3 breaths of the tear gas, and it's very difficult to breathe. It is thick smoke, and there were some people thinking that those were just smoke bombs, but I can confirm to you that they are definitely firing tear gas. And here's a shot of Georgia Street as police try to make an arrest and have a confrontation. There don't seem to be enough officers to arrest all of the troublemakers at the moment, as we see this developing situation unfold. And not far from here, as it looks like it might have calmed down, I dare I say too early, at Georgia and Hamilton, just a couple of blocks away, new cars being set on fire in a parking garage at Seymour. I don't have a camera there, but I am getting the very latest information. But I have to say, anyone who suggests that this is not tear gas needs to go outside and take a breath of it, because some people are saying they're not firing tear gas, and I can guarantee, having experienced riots before, it is very thick.
Some in-your-face action going on here. This is on the Queen Elizabeth Plaza. The young guy arguing with a policeman who is got his baton at the ready, and this guy just is not going to get out of his face right now. So little pockets of trouble like this are springing up everywhere as this thing hopefully is reaching some kind of conclusion, but it seems as if more of the crowd are dispersing now, although again there is that core group that seems to be hanging in, Natalie.
Well, Tony, this picture right here is deceiving, because we have confirmed reports that people are looting in certain shops in Vancouver. People are going through and running through shops at the Bay and in Georgia and Seymour, stealing purses. We saw a bit of this, and now this is a bit out of control. This is police cars and riders getting a little bit. Where is this, guys? I think this is Georgia. Or is this Granville? I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
This looks very much like an attack on some police cars by this crowd. And those certainly look like they're rocking the cars now. They're turning one over.
There's one
It's gone
turned over,
You can tell it has a number on its roof. It's obviously a police car. And they're after the second one now. So this is more damaging than they can imagine. This is going on. And somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody might get crushed under one of these. They're jumping on it. They're tearing at the doors.
Let's put this in perspective. In 1994, there were 50,000 people on the streets. Tonight, there's well in excess of 100,000 fans on the street. Back then, they did $1 million damage in that infamous Stanley Cup riot. Now, people are once again, like they did in '94, jumping on top of police cars, destroying and throwing whatever they can see. It's the exact history the city of Vancouver did not want to see tonight, as these people try to destroy a police car just across from us in Georgia Street. I'm not sure when this is going to stop and what seems to be where any end in sight, but this is exactly what Vancouver police, there was an inquiry after the last riot. They made all kinds of changes, and they had a much different strategy tonight, and I don't know if there's anything the Vancouver police could have done to stop this, but they are clearly outnumbered by the people on the street who are causing so much trouble this evening. What I'm still waiting and trying to find out for you, Tony, is if there have been any serious injuries. We did hear earlier of someone falling off the Dunsmuir Viaduct. I did witness someone being carried away by the police, but with so much happening, we don't have any confirmed numbers at the moment of serious injuries, but you can only imagine. I am concerned about anyone with a respiratory issue and the elderly who might be anywhere nearby, even in the condos nearby, because the air is thick with a very toxic gas designed to disperse the crowds.
And we can only describe to you what's happening in our immediate area. There may be other pockets of trouble that we're not aware of at the moment, and this kind of thing has a way of spreading without reason, but these people are attacking these police cars right now. There is no evidence that police have moved in. At least from my vantage point, I can't see that police have moved in to stop this, but they are jumping on the cars, they are kicking them, and there are members of the riot squad. Perhaps they are moving in that direction. I'm not quite sure. But you see what this has led to now. And we're getting people taking pictures of this, which is amazing. They're just,
Now, Tony, I know I mentioned earlier that the Vancouver police were being backed up by the RCMP. We're just getting word that the Abbotsford police are now dressing and getting ready with their riot gear to come down and do whatever they can to help support the Vancouver police. Police have been able to get some of the people off that dangerous pier I had mentioned to you before. That seems to be some progress. I know there were a lot of concerns that it was going to collapse with such a heavy crowd. I know you're looking at the police car situation. There you go. You see the police dogs now trying to chase people away, as we've got a live shot here. It just seems to be no end in sight, but the crowd is starting to move and get away from Queen Elizabeth Theatre and move down the street. But there are so many blocks and still such a huge, thousands and thousands of fans. There's a struggle unfolding just across the street, and we see the police now with their batons fighting back at the crowd as they were trying to make an arrest. This is an arrest that's been undergoing for a little while, but this man isn't relenting, and police have had a couple of hits at him. So this is what the Vancouver police are faced with as we speak tonight, as this situation unfolds. Tony?
And a dog moving in there as well. There are a few dogs out there too with the Riot Squad police. We want to bring you up to date by showing you some of the events of earlier in the evening. We went to air about 7:45, I believe, and that's when it started. You're seeing it now. This is the scene on Georgia Street beside the post office, the Canada Post Office. And there's one of the injured people who got hurt in that melee when they decided to turn that car over. Turning the car over was one thing, and then they decided to set it on fire. And there is a porta potty being overturned as well. Those are obvious targets in an area like this, fan zone. The zones were equipped with this kind of thing so people could have some comfort. But this is going to be a long session, I'm afraid. Those police cars where you could see them move in now, they have been turned over. You saw them earlier. This is how that happened.
I'm losing my telex.
They just marched on those cars. The crowd moved in and they started rocking the cars. First of all, rocked them enough to make them turn over. The one on the left turns over first, you'll see, and people are jumping on it and trying to break the windows. They were kicking it and smashing it as any way they could. And there is somebody trying to break through the windshield. And now we see the mounted policemen moving in. We're not sure what that location is, but
that's right across from the library, Tony. And police are now, the protesters are now trying to set that police car on fire. I do want to tell you that the police have read the riot act to this crowd. Everyone out there, what you're not hearing from up here, but what we're hearing from our crews on the ground, is police are telling everyone out on the streets of Vancouver tonight, stay and be arrested, leave and we'll have a good night. So they're telling everyone it's time to leave. And there's this confrontation. It's been going on for 10 minutes with this fellow. Police continue to challenge him, and he might be among the troublemakers. There's a buddy trying to tell him to leave, as police, of course, many armed with cameras. They are taking video evidence as are we, I suppose, but they are taking video evidence as this angry Canucks fan and just pushing a friend. Now I think he's going to be arrested. But this is the kind of ugly scene that we were hoping would not be unfolding tonight. And this is happening just across from us at the CBC. That's at the parkade of Queen Elizabeth Theatre, as riot police are continuing to challenge people to get out of the city. The party's over, and they just want to clear this city before any more property damage occurs. But this is the situation. And I have to say, I've been talking about tear gas all evening. I smelled a very noxious gas. We are hearing from the police that they are also using smoke guns just to